Head coach Bart Lundy is here with us now. 92-81, the final score tonight. 9 straight victories, all by double figures. But this one seemed a bit different. This is Carson-Newman. This is a team that, by my money, is a legitimate contender in the league this season. What do you think about winning a game like this and taking a 21-point lead in the second half?
Well, I agree. I think they're not only a contender for the league, but probably a top 3 team in the region. They've got a reigning player of the year in the league and first team preseason All-American and a lot of pieces, a lot of size, a lot of shooters. They're well coached. They're hard to play against. So yeah, we'll take the win and be really happy. To complain a little bit, didn't think that we closed it out as well as we could have. I'm sure you've touched on that. But we did make enormous plays when we needed to. Todd, his 1,000th point, and probably the 5 points before that, the 3 at the end of the shot clock, were just daggers. And those guys made plays. I thought the difference in the game was our unselfishness. You look, and Mike and Jalen combined for 14 assists and 0 turnovers, and those guys are scorers in their DNA, and to be able to distribute the ball and take care of it against the zone that way is huge, because Carson-Newman's a great transition team, and when you're playing a team that zones, you worry about live ball turnovers, and we had 10 total.
21 assists as a team on 38 made field goals. Is there a moment almost where some of your guys can be too unselfish?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I just told them that in the locker room. I told them their spirit.
Really?
Their spirit is unbelievable. Their ability to share and to be unselfish is unbelievable, and it's almost too much when we had shots that were good looks and we passed them up. But you'd rather have it that way than the other way for sure.
True. Your team led by 21. It gets cut to 5. Then you go back up by 17. It gets cut to 7 or 8. I don't remember the exact number. Every time you opened up a lead, Carson-Newman answered. What was the message in the huddle then?
Well, we worked all week at keeping the ball out of the middle of the floor and off the dribble, and they just started crushing us to the middle of the floor, and that was we keep up with box touches and paint touches, and they were just killing us to the box, and that was pretty much, you could have recorded one huddle and rewound it and played it on every huddle. It was just downhill, and if we want to be elite, 48.4% from the field, that's not going to do it. And you got to keep the ball out of the middle of the paint, and you've got to stop the dribble. I think we will. I thought we relaxed when we got up 20. We kind of lost our edge a little bit defensively, and they're too good a team to not close it out. So again, it's we've learned some lessons this year during wins, and I think this is another one.
2 more points to make off of 2 things you just mentioned. First, Charles Clark, the reigning player of the year in the conference that you mentioned, preseason All-American, one of the best scorers maybe in the league and the country. 7 points at halftime. He still gets his. He'll fill it up no matter what. 22 points in this game. However, overall, I felt a solid performance from Mike Davis individually guarding him, but as a whole, the team guarding him.
Yeah.
The performance against Charles Clark tonight, what did you think?
It was really good. Mike is fantastic, and he really soaks up the scouting report. It was tough because they've moved him from the wing to playing majority of the time at the point, and so we started with Ike and Danny guarding him, and with all intention of having Mike switch on to him later. But he was able to make those 2 threes. He could just see over those guys a little too much. We switched Mike on him, and Mike gave him fits, but he did get in foul trouble a little bit during trying to guard him. But we gave great help. We kept him off his left hand. We made him play in the mid-range. He wants to play from 3 or at the rim, and I thought we did a good job until the end. him play in the mid-range. But the shots he made were just. I mean, he's a big-time player. He's one of those guys that's going to make a lot of money for a long time. And you're right. He's gonna eventually get his, and still he's efficient with his numbers, even with our defensive focus.
Last thing, this game very much had the feel of the last game, like Anderson. In that game, you had gone up by 22 points, led by double digits the entire second half, but they had cut into it, and you won the game by 11. Right. So this is 2 consecutive games, and there have been a few games that follow this trend, as you mentioned. Almost not an inability to close, but a lack of focus, I guess, to close. How does that change?
I think you just have to identify. First steps identify the problem, right? We are. I think we have the capability of being an elite level defensive team. When we let our defensive focus lapse, it affects everything. We had offensive droughts during those times as well. We were giving up points, and we were not scoring the ball on the other end. And it's chicken and egg. What comes first? Well, my thought is our calling card is we're an elite defensive team, and that fuels our offense. And when we were giving up baskets, it affected everything, and that's why the lead can flip so fast. You're giving up baskets, you're stagnant offensively. So it starts with being able to, as simple as it sounds, keep that ball out of the paint. Make people shoot over us. Get stops, get clean stops with no offensive rebounds.
Well, you'll dissect it every which way that you can and find the flaws, but in the end, it's a win, and it's a win probably against the most impressive opponent so far this season. 92-81, the final score, as Queens moves to 9-0 on the season. Bart, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thanks,
we'll do it again soon.
All right.